Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different. Think of it like code review, but for the human mind.
Uh-huh.
Imagine your mind is an OS, right? And we've somehow got our hands on the source code for this. Well, this radical financial upgrade.
Okay, I'm with you.
We're diving deep into these really intense billionaire affirmations. It's like a script, not just for motivation, but maybe for actually, rewiring your whole cognitive setup for massive success.
That's a great way to put it because we're not just looking at wishful thinking here. This is a deliberate cognitive restructuring practice.
Cognitive restructuring.
Yeah. The core idea in this material is to shift the user, the person doing this, away from what it calls the scarcity frequency.
Okay, scarcity frequency. Is that meant literally, like physics? Or is that more of a metaphor we need to unpack?
I think it's mostly a powerful metaphor. It stands for those repetitive, self-limiting thought patterns, the kind of thinking that keeps you reacting to life instead of consciously designing it.
Gotcha. Reacting versus designing.
Exactly. So our mission today in this deep dive is to really analyze this blueprint, this framework for financial certainty. We'll look at three core pillars.
Okay.
First, this idea of mandatory identity transformation. Second, the whole mechanism of energetic flow and magnetism. And third, the sort of paradox of discipline and ease that shows up.
Right. Let's jump into that first one then, the identity piece.
Yeah.
Because the material really hammers this point. Home success starts before you even make the first dollar or the first investment. It starts internally.
Precisely. It's all built on identity. The core principle here seems to be that you don't attract what you just want. You attract what you fundamentally are.
So if you see yourself as someone who's always struggling or maybe feels deep down undeserving,
then the material suggests you'll unconsciously push away opportunities, you'll sabotage things, even if you consciously want success.
okay, so how does this source code try to overwrite that old identity? Let's look at the language.
Yeah.
It's very direct, very focused on who you claim to be. Like, I am the architect of my financial destiny. That's quite a statement.
It really is. It's an immediate claim of power, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the first, most repeated instruction seems to be affirming your inherent value.
Yeah, I saw those things like, I am worthy of receiving massive wealth, and I am worthy of all the riches life has to offer.
Right, and psychologically, this isn't just feel-good fluff. It's designed to tackle that core scarcity conflict directly. The idea is, if you truly believe, you're unworthy of big success.
You'll find a way to mess it up.
You'll find a way. So this tackles that head on.
It feels like it kind of bypasses the how-to at first and focuses entirely on the why, like why you deserve this wealth. But how do they suggest you actually, clear out the old programming, the scarcity stuff?
Well, they talk about limiting beliefs not just as feelings, but almost as concrete blocks, things that need to be actively dismantled.
Actively dismantle.
Through specific instructions, like actively releasing all beliefs that limit my wealth and eliminating all beliefs that keep me broke.
Wow. So it reframes being broke or limited as something you're actively holding on to.
That seems to be the implication. It's framed as a choice you're maintaining, perhaps unconsciously. So the only way forward is to stop seeking permission from the outside world to be abundant.
And just claim it.
And just claim it confidently. You have to internalize this identity. I own it.
Okay, so let's say you do that internal work. The rebranding is done. The system's rebooted with this new identity. Then what? The focus shifts outward, right? How does this new abundant you supposedly interact with money out in the world?
Yeah, this is where the language gets really interesting. Very fluid, very magnetic. It moves away from just logic and spreadsheets and into this realm of alignment and energy.
Right.
Money isn't described as something scarce you have to chase. It's talked about more like a natural force. You see phrases like money will flow like crazy or money is always flowing to me.
And the individual is positioned as, what, a magnet?
Exactly. I am a magnet for money and abundance. That's a core one. The person becomes the central conductor, pulling it in.
Okay, that sounds fantastic. I'm a magnet for money. But what's the actual mechanism they suggest is happening there? Is it purely metaphysical, or is there maybe a cognitive process at play?
I think it functions as a really powerful cognitive shortcut. When the sources tell you to be aligned with the energy of wealth or tuned into the frequency of prosperity, what that's really doing, potentially, is creating this intense mental readiness. Instead of your brain power going towards worry or fear or managing problems.
Like scarcity problems?
Exactly. Your mind shifts entirely to proactive opportunity spotting.
Oh, interesting. So if you're constantly telling yourself, affirming that prosperity is flowing to you, You literally trained your brain to notice opportunities you might have otherwise just filtered out, seen as noise.
That seems to be the idea. Precisely. It creates an expectation of, well, of the unexpected even.
Yeah, like being open to receiving unexpected streams of income and constantly attracting financial miracles. Those phrases stood out.
They do. Because if you're not expecting those things, you probably won't even recognize them if they show up, right? You might dismiss them.
True.
So this alignment, this tuning in, aims to make sure you're always sort of in the right mental place at the right time for success to land. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, but one powered by intense belief. Your mind becomes hyper-focused on receiving wealth.
Okay, this brings us to a really interesting part, the practical side. Because if I'm just an effortless magnet, right, why do these same sources then demand intense focus, discipline, even embracing the grind?
Ah, yes. The paradox.
It feels like a contradiction. Creating wealth effortlessly on one hand, and then all this talk about discipline on the other. How do they square that circle for someone trying to follow this?
Well, the way they seem to resolve it is by defining effortless as the result you get, not necessarily the absence of work up front. The juxtaposition suggests that alignment, that magnetic state, is kind of useless without the execution piece. The freedom, the ease, the effortlessness that comes after you've put in the work to build the right systems.
So it's creating wealth effortlessly through aligned action. The action part is still key.
Absolutely crucial. It's required. But the idea is, because your identity and your mental frequency are aligned, the action doesn't feel like a constant struggle against yourself. It feels more like inevitable progress, natural execution.
Okay, but that initial setup, the engineering of it all, still needs real effort. And the sources are pretty full on about this part too, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. They don't skimp on that side. You see things like, I am disciplined, driven, and focused on my financial goals, and I am mastering the habits that create lasting wealth. There's even that phrase, I'm embracing the grind that leads to riches.
Embracing the grind. So much for effortless.
Well, think of it like building a factory versus doing manual labor every day. The initial effort, the grind, that's setting up the factory, the systems, and the focus is on very specific, repeatable habits that generate wealth. Things like building multiple streams of income, investing in my future every day.
Practical stuff.
Very practical. And the ease comes later. It's the consistent, predictable growth you get once those systems are running, and you're using your time and energy wisely. You build a machine first, then the growth can feel effortless because the machine is doing the heavy lifting.
That actually clicks. The effortlessness isn't laziness. It's the feeling you get when the disciplined action becomes almost automatic because your subconscious has been reprogrammed by all those affirmations and the initial focused effort.
Exactly. It becomes second nature.
So once someone has mastered their internal identity, they're aligned, they've built these disciplined systems, what's next? The framework seems to push for this massive shift in scale.
It does. It moves beyond just being, comfortably wealthy.
Yeah.
It pushes into what the sources explicitly call billionaire thinking.
Okay, billion thinking. What's the fundamental difference there, according to this material? It can't just be about adding more zeros to the bank balance, surely.
No, it seems to be about the scale of the problems you choose to tackle.
Scale of problems.
Yeah. So maybe wealthy thinking focuses more on optimizing your personal situation, your comfort, your gains. But billionaire thinking in this context is framed around societal impact, around creating huge systems.
Ah, okay.
The affirmations shift. You see things like, I am focused on solving big problems that create massive value, and I am expanding my thinking beyond limits and boundaries.
So it's less about getting a bigger slice of the existing pie.
And more about baking entirely new, much bigger pies for potentially lots of people.
That definitely requires thinking differently. Operating at a higher altitude, you could say. The language changes too, right? More towards leverage and mastery.
Absolutely. You start seeing phrases like, I'm leveraging time, money, and talent like a billionaire. That's very specific. And the ultimate marker of scale. I'm building systems that grow even when I sleep.
The dream. Passive income on a massive scale.
Right. And it challenges you, the listener, to operate at the level of my future, not my past, which implies constantly choosing expansion, choosing growth, even when it's uncomfortable.
Instead of just staying comfortable.
Exactly. It's about turning bold ideas into billion-dollar realities by leading with clarity, purpose, and conviction, thinking in terms of legacy and impact, not just personal income.
Okay, so after all this, This deep psychological work, the alignment, the massive disciplined action, the scaling up.
Yeah.
What's the end picture? What's the ultimate physical manifestation that these affirmations are trying to imprint on your mind? It seems very focused on tangible luxury.
Yes, the physical manifestations are definitely prominent. They seem to serve a couple of purposes in this framework.
Such as?
Well, first, clearly they're the reward, the desired outcome that motivates the effort. The affirmations paint a very specific, often quite lavish picture.
Yeah, things like attracting first-class travel, luxury hotels and dream destinations, or being deserving of tailored suits, designer bags, and luxury cars. It's very specific.
Very specific, but there's a second layer too.
Okay, because my cynical side wonders. Isn't this focus on, closets filled with gold just incredibly materialistic? Does the material balance this at all?
That's a really fair question. Within this framework, though, the luxury isn't presented just as consumption for its own sake. It's treated more as proof, as reinforcement of the internal state.
Proof. How so?
You're constantly told to be elevating my environment to reflect my abundance. The idea is that the physical evidence, the beautiful homes filled with elegance and peace, the first-class travel, it becomes this constant external feedback loop.
Confirming the internal shift.
Exactly. It confirms that the internal alignment is real, that it's manifesting. It's a self-reinforcing cycle where your lifestyle reflects my inner richness.
So if you, say, moved into a penthouse but kept your old scarcity habits and mindset,
the whole thing would feel wrong. It wouldn't stick. The environment has to match the internal belief system for the model to work, apparently. The luxury becomes evidence that you are that person now.
So the ultimate goal is embodying that elegance, that confidence daily, living a life of ease, grace, and opulence. Not just because it's nice, but because it confirms you've successfully installed the new operating system. You belong in that environment.
That seems to be the core message, yes. It reinforces that you are truly made for this level of abundance. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so we've traced the path here. From deeply reprogramming your core identity, dismantling scarcity,
Claiming that new self.
to aligning yourself energetically, becoming that magnet.
Then harnessing that through discipline action, building systems.
And finally, scaling that up to billionaire thinking, focused on massive value and impact, all reflected in a luxurious reality.
It's quite a journey through this architecture of abundance as they frame it.
And the thread running through it all, from the first affirmation about worthiness to the final picture of opulence, seems to be absolute certainty.
Yes, that's key. This framework isn't about hoping for success. It's about cultivating a state of knowing, affirming things like, I am confident that financial abundance is my natural state.
Believing it's your default setting.
Exactly. And that certainty, perhaps, is the real takeaway here. If you, listening right now, were to truly accept that you are the architect, that money and opportunity really do respond to belief and focused execution.
Then the question becomes,
What's the single biggest action, or maybe the biggest opportunity, that you're currently resisting, holding back on? Maybe because you're still playing a bit small or still unconsciously seeking permission.
Yeah.
The challenge this blueprint throws down seems to be stop doubting, stop delaying, stop downplaying your potential financial destiny. The call to action is really to show up every single day as that most prosperous version of yourself. Believe it more deeply, expand your vision of what's possible, and then crucially, execute the systems that make that growth feel, well, inevitable.